Well, my next guest was a young mother when she was sentenced to life in prison for murder. I want you to take a look at this.
When I was young, I wanted to be a superstar. I was a dancer on Soul Train every week since I was 14. And then I met Art. I thought would have been a positive influence in my life, but it was the worst thing that could have ever happened to me. He was high-powered and just an influential person. The relationship that I had with Art grew to the point that when any man would come in, if they looked at me, I was in trouble. He had people watching me, following me. I couldn't use a phone. One day in December, Art came to my house. It was actually Christmas morning. He came to the door and wanted to know why I didn't come over his house. And he pulled his gun out of this bag, I think it was like a rust-colored bag, and he just started hitting me in my head.
That night, I woke up hearing my mom shouting and screaming, you know what I'm saying, from Art beating on her with a pistol. I believe I was about 8, 9 years old.
After Art had cracked my head back on Christmas Day, I had little to do with him. He had came to my house on March 22nd, and he held me hostage with a gun for 4 days. He tells me he's gonna kill me. He was gonna kill everybody. On that last day, everything came to an end when my brother rushed in to rescue me, and I grabbed the gun, and that one bullet hit 2 people. It wounded my brother, and it killed Art.
Please welcome Rose to the show. Rose, let's go back a little bit here and take us back to the time. I mean, you were on a fast track there for a little while as a young lady, right?
Yes, I sure was.
You were out there living a high life?
Yes.
It says you were a dancer on Soul Train, got to meet a lot of people. As a matter of fact, you got married young, right?
Yes, I did.
And we can talk about your first husband, right?
Yeah, he was an entertainer. I was 16, he was 18. He was a musician and guitar player. And I was a Soul Train dancer, the music thing, American Bandstand, danced on Don Kirshner's rock concert, you know, for different groups, Sly and the Family Stone, BT Express, you know, just, I was a dancer, I could make those moves.
Gotcha. Let's talk about this guy Art for a second, because I think historically people can go back and read some stuff about him. I mean, he was a fairly prominent person back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Record producer, not producer, promoter of concerts, promoter of fights.
Right.
Right, flashing a lot of cash. You got caught up for a minute, right?
Yeah, I got caught up. And
you were how old at this time? 18, 19?
Actually, I was 21.
21. And this guy's like one of the highest rollers in town, right?
Yeah, and he just was doing his best to impress me and entice me, and with, you know, my mindset that, you know, I'm gonna, you know, change the world, and, you know, and I had to get out there. You know, at first I wasn't impressed because he was trying too hard, and I've been around, you know, some people, and I don't remember people
trying that hard.
Not that hard.
Gotcha.
It was kind of real different. But after a while, you know, I guess I just submitted to his...
Relationship started off fine at first, right?
Yeah.
Shopping sprees,
yeah,
trips here and there.
Yeah, I didn't, but the one thing I guess probably it made him more attached to me, I didn't like to buy a lot of things. I wasn't, you know, money hungry, and he's used to people wanting a lot of stuff. He had to, like, more or less
force you.
Yeah, he would take me to the store and say, go get something. Took me to a car, like, get a car. And I didn't even get the car because I didn't want to. I said, no, I don't want one. We have cars. You know, I don't need one. You know? So it was, I think that kind of like, he realized I wasn't after his money. And I think that kind of changed his whole mindset. He probably never met anybody that didn't want his money. Because you know the girls that want your money, they don't
When's
care.
the first time that he struck you?
I think the first time that he struck me, a man came over. I'm not sure if it was his nephew or some man, and they looked at me, and I looked just regularly, meat or whatever, and he's like, you know, what are you doing, you know?
Hit you right in front of this person?
Yeah. Oh, he would hit me in front of people, hit them. He would hit other people.
One point, now I should back up and say, at this point in time, not only were you finding out more and more about him, and he strikes you, but you also started to realize he made a lot of threats about a lot of things, did he not?
Oh, yeah, he had a jar of ears. It'd be, like, right after he got...
Slow down.
Okay.
He had a jar of what?
Ears.
Where were how did he show you his jar of ears, and what did he say the jar of ears were about? Slow down now, tell him.
Okay, the jar of ears. It's like a pickle jar. And it had ears, literal ears in there, like in some liquid.
Like how many ears? 15, 20?
Like about 10 or so ears.
Ears in a pickle jar.
Yeah.
And he said those ears were from
He
where?
cut them off people that get in, you know.
Crossed him.
Yeah.
He told you, he said to you before the first time he struck you.
Right.
He did say to you one time, you know I've killed people.
Yeah.
Let me take a little break. We'll be back right after this. Now, I should say, I mean, I'm not making light of this, but truthfully, if you had to characterize your life with him, would you not feel like it was just you were in prison and this was just lived in fear every single day?
When people ask me, I was in prison 15 years, I said, no, I was in prison for 18, because I was in prison those 3 years I was with him. I could not get away like you would think. Why don't she leave? I could not leave because after that initial fear that's inside of me, where can I go?
Right.
Where can I go?
And he showed up everywhere.
Everywhere.
Anytime you made a move,
Everywhere.
there was somebody there. Somebody said something. He knew where you were. He had people he paid. This guy's the guy who had enough money, folks, in the underside of this society to do anything he wanted to do, for pay people to mark her car wheels to see if they moved an inch. Correct?
If I was talking to him on the phone, he says, so how did you like your food?
You say, what food?
Yeah, what are you talking about? When you just at the restaurant, I just, you know.
He shows up on Christmas Day.
On Christmas Day.
And in front of your children, pistol whips you.
Just hitting me. He just hit me in my head. Hitting me in my head.
You called the police, did you not?
He told me to go in there and lay down. In the back, he laid by the door. I couldn't get out.
But I should also say, your two children were there at the time. Your son was 7, your smaller son was how old? 3, 4 months, 3 years?
He was 15 months.
15 months. With her children watching, this man pistol whips and beats this woman to a second of her life, then drags her into a different room, door open, and rapes this mother. Correct?
Yes.
He showed up 3 months later, literally almost just kicking the door in, right?
Yeah.
And held you hostage for 4 days.
4 days.
Beating you.
Yes.
In front of your children.
Yes.
Raping you off and on. To the point that everybody's trying to figure out what's wrong. Watch this, folks. Your brother breaks in.
Yep, to rescue me.
Start throwing down.
Yep.
Gun hits the floor, slides across the floor, you grab the gun. Looked up, trying to say, boom, you shot your brother.
I wasn't a shooter.
Bullet went right through her brother. Hit Art, killed him. Now, folks, I'm gonna ask you a question. If you were 10 people or 12 people on a jury, this case comes before you, and I had a judge say guilty or innocent, what do you say?
No, at this, Montel, we in my bedroom at my house.
Right.
And he's at my house with a gun.
With a gun. You shoot him with his gun.
In my house,
in your house, in your bedroom,
and
after you're pregnant, scars of being beaten for 4 days.
And they give me life.
Let's take a break. We'll be back right after this. Rose, the gavel goes down, and initially they said 25 to life. No, it was just life.
27 years
27 years to life. You were standing in that courtroom, and guilty. What did you think? Obviously, these people crazy. Something's wrong here, ha ha. Bring the cameras out because y'all lying, right? Mm-hmm. Truthfully.
I think I was just totally in shock and in denial.
They walked you right from that courthouse right to jail.
Right. I never saw I was breastfeeding my baby. He was 6 weeks old. My other son was 2. I left them at home, and because I was OR'd and I was free because they knew I wasn't a risk. But somehow they fixed it up. So in trial, I'm just this crazy murderer, and Sent me, I never saw my kids again.
You go into prison saying, okay, smarter minds will prevail, right? I'm getting out.
Oh yeah, every day.
Next week I'm getting out.
No, I'm getting out in a minute.
In a minute.
When they come to themselves, in a few minutes, I'm gonna go back to this holding cell, and my breast's gonna fill up because I've got to go back home to nurse my baby, and in a minute they get ready to take me back home. I never went home till not that long ago.
Wait, darling. 1 year goes by.
I'm still waiting.
2 years go by.
I'm waiting.
3.
I'm knowing.
4.
Still waiting. Packing my stuff.
5.
Mailing it out at the mailroom. 6. Saying, where am I gonna live?
7 years.
I'm waiting to go home, telling my kids every day, Mommy's coming home in a minute.
8 years.
Telling my kids, they're getting bigger, trying to express to them, as I'm coming home, let's kiss and be happy.
They're coming every Friday to see you, right?
They're coming there. My dad
9 years.
Faithfully bringing them.
9 years.
Waiting.
10 years you said, man, I better get a job while I'm in here. Give you some skills, because next month I'm getting out, I have a job to get out with.
Yeah,
right?
I was doing stuff while I was there, but
10.
I was literally waiting, telling them I'm coming home.
11 years go by.
Still waiting. Believing, praying, fasting.
12 years, you start counseling other inmates.
Yep, working at the chapel.
13 years go by, they're going to make you the warden.
Yep, in a minute. The chaplain.
14 years, ladies and gentlemen. 15. And somebody decides what, Rose?
They realize they made a mistake.
You were just released from prison.
Right.
You weren't paroled. No, you were paroled. You was
I was paroled, and then I should have been pardoned. They made everybody think I was pardoned, but I wasn't. Even the governor's office officials said, "Oh, you're the lady that was pardoned." I said, "No, you guys got me on parole." Then they put a monitor on me like a dog. So the governor said, Governor Gray Davis said that I was a classic case of battered women syndrome. The law was not in effect to protect me, but he let me out of the prison, put me on a monitor. Then they put it on my leg for 2 years.
And I don't understand why now you are not pardoned. It's not exonerated completely. You have to register as a felon, as a murderer.
Right,
Do you have a job?
Yeah, I have an organization actually called Saving Our Women International Incorporated, and what I do is try to prevent someone from going through what I went through with intervention, education, and information, the characteristics of an abuser, the characteristics of an abusive relationship. Yeah. We have a website.
Go over I'll put Rose's website up right now. Go up on the website and see what you can do, and you'll get information about how to get a hold of the governor. This woman needs to be pardoned immediately.
SavingOurWomen.org.
Thank you so much, Rose.
God bless you. God bless you.